Hey guys, it's Zane from the Infinite Jukebox here with another album review, and today I wanted to talk about the new Sam Smith record, Gloria. Ever since their 2014 debut studio album In the Lonely Hour, Sam Smith has been a somewhat polarizing figure within the music community. For some, they are capable of standing up alongside the likes of Adele as one of the great balladeers of our time, and for others, such as myself, they are an incredibly uninteresting and relatively dull performer that has put out very lifeless music over the course of the past almost decade. So, I mean, take that for what you will. It certainly is a matter of taste after all, but Sam Smith has not been capable of standing up alongside a lot of the great balladeers of our time, like Adele, at all. While Gloria, Smith's latest studio album, seemed to have more creative ambition than anything else they've done in the past immediately upon announcement, everything that tries to occur on Gloria just goes awry despite admirable attempts at artistic growth. Firstly, the entirety of Gloria just feels too thrown together for its own good. There are a number of different artistic and musical paths that Smith actually takes here that feel relatively unique for them and sound interesting for them on paper, but this album barely cracks 30 minutes, and a short runtime means that this album feels hollow and disjointed just as a means to get a bunch of different styles out there to see what sticks and what doesn't. Maybe a more fluid and cohesive listening experience would have made Gloria a slightly better record. Honestly, it's kind of hard to say, but the point still stands that this record's disjointedness is ultimately one of its biggest downfalls. Tracks like the disco-influenced I'm Not Here to Make Friends and the somewhat overly polished, folksy track How to Cry don't belong on the same album together without some sort of reasonable connector piece or bridge between them, and that bridge is just not here at all. Put simply, Gloria does not make sense as an album, and it has absolutely zero appreciation for the phrase cohesion. The songwriting here is questionable at best as well, as Gloria never really feels particularly heartfelt, nor does it actually feel engaging either. There are many more energetic songs here that were obviously structured lyrically in a way meant to appeal to a more general audience looking for something just generally a little bit more lighthearted and fun, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Some great music can come from that, obviously, but that just so happens to be that there's also nothing new or interesting being done on Gloria as an album. This just kind of feels like a rehash of things that not only Sam Smith as an artist has done from time to time, but also just things that other artists have done. I mean, sure, Smith themself does take a few different pathways, a few different creative directions here, but overall it just feels like sounds that have been done before, and with flavorless instrumentals to back them up, Smith just really can't compete with other artists doing similar music with much better results. The more balladry-focused cuts like Who We Love and Unfortunate Ed Sheeran collaboration also fail to pack any punch and are just as purposeless as the more up-tempo cuts that they are packaged with. Ultimately, Sam Smith kind of does a disservice to what feels like a bad mock-up of contemporary R&B, almost stereotypical, incredibly dull and lifeless contemporary R&B, as none of these ballads feel like they serve any purpose on the album, but then again, that's kind of hard to do when the album itself feels like it has no purpose. If there's one thing that's good that can be said about Gloria, and not just Gloria, but Sam Smith's entire career, is that Sam Smith has a genuinely good voice, a great voice even. Their voice is incredibly smooth, but it can be powerful from time to time. It has good range. I mean, everything that your typical good, solid vocalist pop star really needs to succeed and make something strong. They have a voice that should result in praiseworthy music, and they just don't. I still firmly believe that Smith is capable of putting out something unique and interesting in the future at some point if given the chance, and this is solely based on their vocal capabilities because they genuinely can sing extraordinarily well. It's just that it's hidden behind a bunch of incredibly bland and unremarkable songs, and the moments where they do experiment aren't necessarily the most successful either. I mean, look at the Unholy collaboration with Kim Petras, which is also found on this album and was a massive hit. That song is just more repulsive than it is respectable in terms of actual experimentation. It's just an absolutely rancid song that really makes me question if I'm right about that whole Sam Smith is capable of making good music thing, but I still stand by the opinion, at least, that Smith can potentially make good music because they are a good musician. They just aren't putting out good music. And I know that probably makes no sense, but I stand by it all the same. So overall, although they have the voice for it, Sam Smith just seemingly can't find their own niche to make genuinely great music. I really do feel that given time, Smith may be able to find themselves more artistically and actually put out something at the very least above average because they do have a genuine aptitude for vocal performances. It's just everything else around them that fails them, from instrumentation to production to album cohesiveness. And look, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy for saying that, but I genuinely think they could put out something interesting in the future. As for the record in question, Gloria, it does fiddle around with a lot of different pop subgenres, but overall it just isn't anything of note, and although it isn't the worst thing that you'll hear all year, like I'm sure many critics will say, it's also not anything worthy of even the slightest amount of attention. I'm going to give this record 2.5 stars out of 5. And with that being said, that's the end of this album review. I've been Zane from the Infinite Jukebox. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.